called 4 months. About 4 months later, my friend Becky called me again, and I'm an engineer, so I'm cynical by nature, very skeptical by nature, and but also once I seen the science and I recognized the company with Rexall Pharmacy. They were around since 1903. I remember going in there with my grandparents and parents. There's been over 5 studies or 5 patents. They're working on a couple more on the decaf. Unomate. It's been around for over 20 years, and there's so many over 35 years actually, and there's so many clinical studies. So we'll get into it. So let's just dive in. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to mute everybody. And if there's questions at the end, we can definitely take questions. We got 19 people on the call. So that's exciting. Tammy Pelton, how are you doing? All right, let me share my screen. Window. And I should have started on the very first one. One second here. Okay, so our goal is to really help eradicate heart disease, eradicate things like type 2 diabetes, and really with this system, it's a fiber and a fasting protocol. You can do it for free. However, I wasn't very good at prepping a garden salad with seeds and nuts and all kinds of fiber. Um, so with this program, they're just tools to help get fiber back into our diet and to get fasting in. So in order to have a big business, um, we need to be able to solve a really big problem. Metabolic dysfunction. 93% of American adults are now struggling with metabolic health issues. I mean, if you've got things like belly fat, or maybe you're really skinny, but if you put weight on, it tends to get right in the front of you, like in that paunch. A lot of skinny people still have a lot of metabolic dysfunction. If you've got skin tags on the neck, maybe the armpit, maybe the side area, that is our body screaming help. If we've got inflammation in our joints, in our muscles, we wake up, we're just sore. That is usually some kind of a gut health issue, and our body's screaming help. High cholesterol issues. Bob talked about high triglycerides. A high triglyceride is one of the most dangerous things in your body. It's a blood fat, it's sticky blood. If we have trouble sleeping at night, if we have sleep apnea, if we've got high blood sugar, high blood pressure, constant cravings, that is a sign of metabolic dysfunction. And the problem is those are a precursor to things like diabetes, things like cancer. Diabetes back in 1970, type 2 diabetes was very, very rare. It was not common. It was almost unheard of, type 2. A lot of the cancers that we're dealing with today weren't even a thing 50, 60, 70 years ago. PCOS is something called polycystic ovarian syndrome. It is the number one cause of infertility in women, and insulin resistance is the number one cause of PCOS. Non-alcoholic fatty liver. I mean, it's crazy that it used to be only alcoholics would develop something like this because of the sugar and alcohol. But now almost half of adults, 10% of all children, and 20% of 5-year-olds are dealing with a previous alcoholic's disease. And then if you look at heart disease, high blood pressure, heart disease still is and has been the number one cause of death in our country. And then it leads with insulin resistant, it leads into things like Alzheimer's and dementia. They're calling that the new type 3 diabetes. Migraine headaches, usually that's caused from leaky gut, a poor gut health dysbiosis type condition. Erectile dysfunction in men, neuropathy and obesity is run rapid. If you go Google in 1950s and 60s, Google a picture of a beach beaches across the United States, it will be a bunch of skinny people. Now, 80% of people almost are dealing with obesity. I was right there with them. And, and I was suffering with many of these conditions. Um, so, so as far as solving a big problem, that is what the Feel Great system does. Now, I had some packs here. So I don't know if there's anybody new on here, but has everybody seen these? This is the solution um, to those problems. Now, if you look at the top right graph there, what's happening throughout our country is we are eating the modern diet. The American standard diet now is to eat and snack all day long. They tell you, hey, eat lots of small meals. Well, what happens is the green line, and this shows what happens without these two products right here. The green line is what happens. The blood sugar, every time we eat, we have a blood sugar spike. Now, look what happens naturally in our body when we have a blood sugar spike. You have the red line is the insulin spike. Now, blood sugar can spike and crash fairly rapidly, but insulin takes a lot longer to come down. So you can see the red line never truly comes down because we are eating all the time. And then when we eat again, we have a blood sugar spike. Many people are having 6 to 11 meals a day. Now, a meal cause a blood sugar spike. It could be a handful of nuts. It could be a handful of blueberries. It could be whole, really good food. And I'm not saying don't eat those foods. I'm saying it's the quantity, it's the spiking and crashing all day long that is causing damage that we seen on the previous page. And when we have that damage, we get inflammation and fat storage. Now, with these two products, look on the bottom, they help keep blood sugar and insulin spikes low. On the protocol, we'll walk through the orange one we take right before our meals, and it's going to act like an all natural metformin, and it's going to keep blood sugar low. And then the yellow one we helps us fast. So these two tools, you can see there what happens to blood sugar. So when we keep blood sugar and insulin low, your body can now achieve fat burning, and you can get relief from the damage that we talked about on the previous page. Now, these products, they're in the physician's desk reference. Those, I mean, most all pharmaceuticals, if not all of them, are in that book. Now it's it's the PDR.net. You can Google it. You can type Unicity Balance, Unicity Unimate in the PDR.net, and they're all natural. There's no side effects other than I lost a lot of weight and I had to buy new clothes. But you can look it up. You can tell your doctor to look it up. There's over 20 clinical studies from some of the largest medical institutions across the world, one being the Cleveland Clinic. They studied this product right here. It's an all-natural fiber blend. And what they said is the Cleveland Clinic, with their finding of the study, said such a product, if people took it regularly, like the whole population, we took it every day before meals, we could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and reduce the need and our dose for lipid lowering drugs, statins. They're HSA and FSA qualified. They're a nutraceutical, meaning that they're not a supplement. A nutraceutical is one where they've had all the studies and it works. They work as good, oftentimes better than a prescription medication. It's in over 63 countries now. There's over 5 patents. It's guaranteed to work for you. And it's basically about $5 a day. Get with the person that brought you and they can get you use their discount link. So the competition, statins. Statins and metformin are about, I think they're number 1 and 2, the most sold prescription medications across the world. There's over a $50 billion industry each. And then now Ozempic, we see all the GLP-1 shots. Our body can produce GLP-1 naturally. This helps to do that. And then bariatric surgery. And if we've had that, I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that most people they end up going back to the way they originally were, and the problem comes back because we're not fixing the true root cause of the problem. Okay, so these products, it's not a matter if they work. They've been around for over 30 years. They're in over 63 countries with all the patents, all the studies. This works. It's been around the world, and people. It's going to be as common. I can see what's going to happen is when you go into a donut shop in 3, 4, or 5 years, you're going to go and you're going to pick out whatever donut you want, maybe two, like I used to eat. And I can picture seeing balance right next to the cash register because it's going to be public knowledge what this does to blood sugar. And I can imagine that in the donut shop, they're going to say, "Sir, would you like one balance or two?" So what I was really impressed with and how we're gonna walk through how we're gonna cover the planet, but more importantly, we got some really good testimonies on what the referral program has done for people. Uh, some of the people have been in for a while with the product. They got great testimonies themselves, and then usually people can't shut up about it. But what I love about this program is if you become a distributor, let's just say you buy a franchise and you now have the ability to get customers. And every customer you get, every time they order and reorder, let's just say Bob, you're going to get a $20 to $25 referral every month, cash. Now, let's just say Bob, he's a very happy customer. Um, Bob then he can't shut his mouth about it because he's reversing diabetes. He's getting his blood pressure low. He's losing weight. He's feeling good. He goes and talks to Sue. Now, Bob is not a franchise owner or a distributor. Bob is a happy customer. However, there's a referral program for happy customers as well. Bob then can talk to Sue. Sue gets on, orders through his referral link. Now, Bob can get her a link to get the same get the products for the same price that he does. Now, it's $159 plus tax plus it depends where you live. Um, but if people went right to Amazon, they could buy it through Unicity direct. They could buy it through Unicity and Amazon. You're going to pay about $244 retail, but Bob and the franchise owner can get you a special link. Sue, she starts having great results, and she is a social butterfly, and she goes and tells Joe and Jill. Now, Sue, because she referred Joe and Jill, now she's a customer. She's not going to earn the $25 referral. However, every time Joe and Jill orders and reorders, Jill is going to get a $10 product credit where she can use it on future purchases up to $600 a year. And then you, because you got the party started, you are the franchise owner. Like if you're working with, with Bob and Barb, if you're working with Shelby and Lance Craney, if you're working with Amy Van Houten, I seen Wayne Slotin jump on earlier. If you're working with those people, you are truly blessed because on the health side, they can help you fix that. But a lot of people in our country are having just as much problem with their finances as they are with their health. Most people are a couple paychecks away from going bankrupt. So if we've got a huge problem in our country, 93% of the people have metabolic dysfunction. We have a product that solves that problem. This is how we are going to cover the planet. And it gets me so excited every time we talk through it. So how this works is we base it on a 10 customer model. If you want to have a successful business, a successful franchise, or if you just want to make a philanthropic difference, right? You're helping people. We encourage people to go out and get a minimum of 10 customers. We all know if we talk to 10 people, 9 out of 10 people need this. Whether they do it or not, it's on them. They got to want to get healthy. But what happens is when you buy a franchise, It's $1,549. There is financing available. We can the person that invited you on this call can get you details. But when you buy a franchise for $1,549, the company throws in 10 sets or 10 kits of the Feel Great system. And our whole goal then is to help you recoup your investment. We can do a Zoom, we can do a meeting like this. You can invite people. We're going to do the work. We have a lot of times, quite often, live in-person live events going on all across the country. And our whole goal is to help you sell those to recoup your investment. Now, what's really cool is I don't have to do anything on the back end on the business. I don't have Unicity provides our custom link. They handle all the order from fulfillment, meaning they take the orders, they ship the orders. They set up and run the back office where we can look at all of our customers, all the information we need. They handle the customer service. Some of us on here actually deal with a lot of Amish families. And they're hurting. They're some of the sickest people in the world because they don't understand what they've done to our food. They even set up, as of a year ago, a special customer service department just for the Amish communities. But what's really great, and I hope Bob touches on this part when he gives his testimony, we have a proven system. I think he was very impressed with what Trent has developed, and it's free. I don't pay for it. Trent's done all the work. All I have to do is rinse and repeat, just copy what he's done. We have the product, the business mentoring. We got trainings that happen weekly from some of the top business builders, but more importantly, health educators to help people get knowledgeable on metabolic syndrome. I'm an engineer. I am not a medical person. However, for 20 years, I dealt with diabetes. I dealt with neuropathy. I dealt with diabetic retinopathy. I dealt with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, way overweight. And these people helped me radically change my life with the coaching. No one charged me for any of it. And there's a social media. I mean, if you like that, if you like to pursue that route, I mean, if you're like to do that, we have a program. We have a program developed for anybody that is very interested. So how this works, and this is what really excited me. Prior to doing this business, I was a vice president for 12 manufacturing companies across northern Michigan. Previous to that, I was a high level manager at John Deere. I worked in Iowa and Illinois for about 15 years. And the problem is, if you're on salary, if you are make an hourly rate, if we have to trade time for money, if we have to trade hours for dollars, you can never have both. I made tons of money in corporate America. I was so time poor, right? And so many people are struggling, with a job. They can't make ends meet. But if you, or maybe they get hurt, or maybe a sickness, maybe a lot of the things that we're dealing with metabolic syndrome prevents them from doing the type of work they used to do, right? It's not about the amount of years you have left. It's the quality in the years you have left. So what really intrigued me is because I was tired on January 1st, every year, I'd get a 1099 or I'd get my W-2 and I'd be like, wow, I made a lot of money. Where did it go? The problem is on January 1st, if you're an employee or self-employed, if you trade hours for dollars, we all start back at zero on January 1st. And then we got to work. We got to work 4 to 5 months a year just to pay for all the taxes that they charge us for. So what intrigued me about this was leverage, right? Henry Ford said, I'd rather utilize 1% of 100 people's time than 100% of my own. And that's what really intrigued me. I was already busy, but I had no way out. My life looked like home to work, work to home to work, work to home, day after day after day. Every time I got a promotion, I made more money, but it meant less time with my family. And I was living obligations rather than priorities. So, with leveraged income, if I go out and help someone do a 10 customer business, your product is basically free. A lot of people on here are happy customers and they're referring people like crazy. But if you become a distributor, we're going to help you sell those 10 kits and make your money back right away. But if we help teach 5 people to do the same thing with 10 customers, we know we're probably going to get 5 partners, and that's about a $500 a month income. We like to call that, the car payment, right? I mean, there's your car payment for the month. Now, if those people, with the help of people like Shelby and Lance, with the help of people of Barb and Barb and Bob Hunninga, if you the work of Amy Van Houten, Wayne Sloan, or some of the other leaders on here, when they help teach other 5 people, basically to make that $500 a month income, they're going to be making about $2,000 a month. They're going to qualify for trips. There's other ways, bonuses you can make money. Now you're talking about a really good house payment. Imagine making your house payment, just throwing that $2,000 every month at bills. Before you know it, they're gone. And then if those 5 people, we just keep, there's no ceiling. We just help keep teaching other people, right? We got this whole country that's sick. We just teach other people how to go get this product in front of people that is life changing. And I don't know if an extra $105,000 a year would help you, but most people can reduce the chance of getting bankrupt by an extra $300 a month because they're living every month right about here at the water level. And one whoopsie, car breaks, wash machine breaks, something happens, snowstorm like we got, you can't go put the hours in. Now they're drowning. So get with the person that brought you. They can get you more information on this. And now I'm going to bring some of my friends on here. But get with the person that brought you. They can get you some more information. Now, I've got a great friend of mine. She's like a sister to me, Amy Van Houten. Now, Amy and I were perfect strangers 2 years ago. And through this organization, through helping people get healthy, I met her through a Diane Stelter. So Amy has had life-changing results on the health side, but also on the business side, on the referral program side, it has really made a difference for her family. So Amy, if you would be willing to unmute and walk through what the business has, what the referral program has done for you. And so I'd love to hear it. Never gets old.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I'm echoing on my end. Okay,
You're good on our
it went
end.
away. Okay, perfect. Okay, hi. Some of you I just saw over on the other call. Thanks for hopping over and listening to this one too. I won't take a ton of time. But when John says it reversed my health, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a shortened version of my health journey, because at the end of 2023, I was a disaster. I know some of you are just getting started on this journey. Maybe others of you who are on here listening haven't tried the protocol yet. But what John explained just now, all of that, when he showed you that wheel of insulin resistant symptoms, I had almost all of those and I didn't know how to fix them. And it felt terrible. I felt much, much older than I was at the time. I think I was 46-ish. But I felt like my life was unraveling and I was losing control. And I was a little bit scared about that because I had lost my husband of a heart attack. He died of a heart attack when he was 39 years old. And all of the things that he was struggling with, like super high cholesterol and things like that, were starting to become a reality for me as well. And the thought of my children, my 7 children at the time, I have sextuplets and then a surprise daughter that was born after them. Um, the thought of them being with zero parents just was too much for me to handle. So I needed to figure something out. And I listened to my friend Diane, jumped on board, said, I'm doing this. And everything changed very quickly for me. And everything's been amazing since. I feel like a new person, like I'm aging backwards. That's the sped up version of my story. Feel free to reach out if you want to hear more details about it. Um, but since this is a business presentation, the referral program, I need to tell you about my experience with that because I was really focused on my health, and once I started seeing so many changes in my life, and when I started feeling like a whole new person, I knew that everyone needed to know about this. And I was a mom. I had been a mom for 20 years. And before that, I was a teacher. And, selling things and business, numbers in general. I mean, I joke to people all the time, like numbers. I was an English major in school. So numbers to me are like, what? But these are the numbers I was interested in, the number of people that needed to hear about this product that I truly believe with all my heart is going to change the world in the most amazing way. I needed to share that. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. But I quickly learned as I started getting to know people within the company that everything was right at my fingertips. And the most amazing people were, just like John said, all of these resources were just like handed to me on a silver platter, and everyone was willing to help me share with anyone and everyone I could think of. And then when I couldn't think of anyone else, I would tell someone else that they knew. And it it's been the most amazing journey. So if you're listening, if you've heard anything John said and it made you think, oh, that's great for other people, well, I thought those same things. I want you to know I'm about as normal and boring as you can get. And I thought to myself quite a few times in the beginning, what am I doing here, right? Oh, I'm helping people. That's what I love to do. I'm helping people. And now fast forward 2 years, I've been a partner with Unicity for the past 2 years. And it has completely, I mean, like apart from my health changing, my whole life has changed, you know? Um, and I never did. I never did much of that. We were, when John talked about, living, making ends meet and running out and starting over, that was always me. We never had an abundance. And traveling was just kind of something that seemed like an every once in a while thing. And that's one of the perks that I found with being a part of this company is I can travel now. I've done more traveling in this past 2 years than I have in my entire life. So that's been pretty awesome. But even bigger than that, when I first started as a partner with Unicity, one of the things that I needed to do as a single mom of six living kids. One of my sons passed away, but six living kids was to replace an income that was very quickly going to be going away. I know I told you that my husband had passed away, and because of that, my kids had always received survivor's benefits. Until the last one graduated from high school, that was the case. And my youngest graduated last spring from high school. So in the spring of last year, those survivors' benefits were going to be gone. And I needed to think through what I was going to do in order to replace that income. So that was kind of at the forefront of my mind, like, okay, well, I'm helping people, and boy, I can really make this happen for my family. I can replace that income and keep things, comfortable for us. I don't have to be scrambling or find an outside job. I take care of my son with special needs, so leaving is not easy for daily, everyday work. Right, punching a clock 9 to 5. That doesn't work well for our family. So once I realized that, I was able to not only meet it by the deadline, but I met that goal like two or 3 months ahead of that. And I was just like, what is happening right now? So, I am going to be the first person to tell you that if any of this has sounded appealing or too good to be true, I just feel like I kind of am living this dream that of this from this company that's giving me my health back and kind of given my family, like it was like a beautiful gift from God, handed to me. It's just been the best thing. So if you even have any questions about it, I would really encourage you to ask someone about it, because it's been amazing, so fulfilling to help people feel better and be able to have an income coming in at the same time. It's been awesome, John. Thank you for letting me share.
Awesome, Amy. Yeah, I mean, your story is amazing and very inspirational. We're going to get to Bob and Barb here, but for me, it wasn't so much about the money. I got healthy and I was going to tell everybody about it. Now, in corporate America, I was good at that game. I was pretty aggressive at it. I could climb the corporate ladder very easily, and they paid me more money than I was smart enough to make. However, I never gave it back, but we always spent a lot of it. But I was always so time poor. I mean, I missed t-ball games with my kids growing up. Carrie could go. I missed vacations. Carrie was able to come up to northern Michigan. We were living in Iowa, and I missed so many things. And what really drove me to finally get off dead center, because I didn't want to go talk to people about this. I didn't want to, I was already busy working 70, 80 hours a week in corporate America. In Northern Michigan, I was running 12 companies. But what happened is I had a vacation plan to go see my son in Iowa. Him and his wife have four boys. They're all under 6 years old. So that's a crazy household. Not quite as crazy as what Amy had, having six all at the same time, but still crazy. And I was just before I was getting ready to go on vacation. The owners of the company that I ran 12 of their companies, they said, "Hey, we just bought another company and we need you to go part of doing the takeover next week." I'm like, I can't. You're going to have to find somebody else. I mean, there's 1,200 employees in this company. Find somebody else. And they said, and I said, I got vacation. And they're like, well, you're going to have to cancel that. And I remember the day I was in the parking lot and I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm so over missing things, right? Tomorrow's not promised. And I'm like, and then my friend Trent Tueller calls me right at that time. And folks, in 10 months, uh, I got to work and I made a bunch of phone calls and I helped a bunch of people get healthy. And we just did it and we did it and we did it. So fast forward April 19th of last year, in 10 months, once I decided, I was able to take my computer on my last day of work in corporate America forever. And I walked in and I had my 18-month-old grandson in one arm, and I was holding on to my 4-year-old grandson's hand in the other. And I walked in with shorts and flip flop in this big corporate building, and people are like, "What? He's lost his mind. What are kids doing here with you?" And I'm like, "I'm turning to my computer. This is the last day someone will ever own my time again. I choose when I go see my family." So for me, it was never about the money. I was so time poor. I was tired of missing things, and now, I mean, today we've been digging out of snow in northern Michigan for like 3 days. But my grandson, my three kids were over at our house today, and it was pretty nice out. And I spent a few hours on the tractor, and we're digging out snow everywhere. But my 4.5-year old grandson was on my lap all day helping me plow snow. And we got his BB gun out. He's target practicing. I approve myself to be able to do that. And you can too. Bob, if you are available to take yourself off mute, um, I know when we first met, you weren't really excited about doing a franchise or being a distributor. I think you weren't even quite sure about the products. But what really changed very quickly? Because you went from, I don't think we want to do a franchise to, holy cow, Bob is like getting so many people on calls. He's talking to everybody about it. So what changed?
Well, thank you, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we met in December. Shelby Craney sent me a text. I said to her, I'm not really interested in a multi-level company, and she said, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. You can just look at these products. So she sent me some information, and then we scheduled a meeting. And John and Amy and Shelby came to our place. We live above the Healing Center in Lakeview. And as soon as I saw what it could do for people, I spent my whole career putting Band-Aids on people for their diabetes and their high blood pressure and high cholesterol and sleep apnea and all these things. And as soon as I saw that the insulin resistance was the root cause of all those things, the lights went on. I knew about insulin resistance, but in traditional medicine and even in natural medicine, we don't have any solutions for that. But here was a solution. I'd retired from my office about 3 years before that. And I had quite a bit of free time. And so we decided, Barb and I decided that we're going to take this on. And we started the last part of December, and we're scheduled to go to Ecuador for 4 months for the winter. And the nice thing about this is you can do it at a distance. I think I would probably be more effective if I was there in person. But down here, our phones don't work. We do have internet and we have Wi-Fi. So everything that we've been doing, sharing with people, has been through the internet. And, my primary goal was to see people get rid of some of those health issues. And we're seeing lots and lots of success with that. The financial side was not really primary for me, but I listened to one of Trent Chuler's trainings, and he said, go out and get 100 customers. And so that became my goal. And we're almost at that at the present time. So if you remember from John's chart, each of those customers generates $25 for us. So every month there's an extra $2,500 in the checkbook. Now that's nice because that can make our payment for our condo down here and allow us to travel and do the many things that we love to do. Again, it wasn't my primary goal, but it is a secondary thing. And the thing I like about this company, we've been in quite a few multi-level companies over the years, Nature Sunshine, Young Living, a bunch of others. The company does all of the back stuff for you. So if there's any kind of problem, the customer can get a hold of customer service. And these people are so helpful and so friendly, and they take care of all these problems. So the whole idea is you can have this business up front, and you can do the um, referrals, you can service customers, you can answer questions. But then behind that is this amazing company that produces products and they provide the services. So it's way different than what we've been used to with some of these other companies. So there's been financial benefits, but probably the coolest thing is to talk to somebody who has now has normal blood pressure and their blood sugar is better and their sleep apnea is gone. I've had personally a lot of success, normalized blood pressure. I had horrible acid reflux and esophageal stricture that's completely gone. Prostate issues all gone. Eliminated a bunch of weight. I was one of those skinny guys with a big belly, and
Now he's just skinny.
now I'm just skinny. So, and anyway, this has been really quite an interesting venture, and we're looking forward to getting back home and being able to put on some meetings at the Healing Center and talk to people in person. I spent my whole career face to face with people that had problems. And one of the joys of that profession was actually helping people get better. But this is actually much better than that. It's the best thing that I've seen in 50 years. And the ability to help people help themselves, that's the big thing. You know, when I was working as a PA, we could help, but we didn't teach anybody to do anything for themselves. And so that's been a real bonus for me.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the warmth. I believe you have about a month more to go,
Yeah.
and I cannot wait to get back and do some spend some more time together and really this mission of helping people get healthy. The people that want to can, and we got the tools to do it. So, Bob and Barb, thank you so much. Enjoy your time. I'm jealous after I moved 30 inches plus of snow the last few days. But next year, I'm thinking Ecuador sounds really good. And you've proved that we can do all these meetings down there, and I'll actually probably have a little more peace with my phones not ringing off the hook and just say, hey, we're going to do it with Facebook Messenger. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one more testimony from a great couple that actually brought Barb and Bob into the business. I cannot wait to hear this couple. And Shelby and Lance Craney got in to the health side of this. And their testimony on the health side is absolutely unbelievable. But what they're doing as far as in the Amish communities, English communities, they just do whatever it takes to reach out and help people. So Shelby and Lance, if you would come on and quickly talk through the business. I don't think you might have been a little skeptical at first. Maybe had and I know I didn't have the confidence that I could do this because I wasn't a health professional. However, I felt like a 20-year science project trying all these different medications. But if you could come on and give your testimony, what's the referral program, the franchise part of it done for you both?
Yeah, when we first came on, can you hear us, John?
Yep, you're good.
Great. So when we first joined up, we knew we were both going to come on the product. So just kind of financially, we're like, okay, hey, it just makes kind of sense to sign up for this 10 pack so we can get a little cheaper because we had two of us on it. We figured some of our kids were going to be on it. So it's like, okay, what's the cheapest way we can get this? And that was signing up as a distributor. So we went ahead and pulled the trigger on that, not really thinking that this was something that we were going to get into because we kind of thought, we don't have this big friend network. We don't have this big bubbly personality like Amy does. We're not these great public speakers like yourself. So we got into it more as that's the cheapest way that we can start on this. But then really, as we got on the product just for a little while, it started changing us. And, eventually those changes are visualize themselves outwardly to other people, and they start saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And it didn't take long before we got a first couple referrals here, a customer there, and and then it just kind of started clicking with us. Like maybe we can improve ourselves, help ourselves, and help other people as well, and make a little bit of a side income while we're doing it. So why not? Why not help people and get paid to do it while you're at the same time? So, and I guess, and at that point too, it's kind of like people might be out there thinking, well, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to do another side gig or side hustle. But what I would say to that is just, take a long, hard look at what you're doing throughout the day. How much time do you spend? Not all that, maybe it's wood carving or some crazy thing, or making a, yeah, whatever it might be. But what could you trim out of that time to put towards something that's going to benefit yourself and help other people? And I think that you can find a lot of time there, and then even if that's sacrificing a little sleep, of getting up earlier and staying up a little late, there's plenty of time and opportunity there to make a difference in your own self as well as others.
And like Bob said, it's the side income part is nice. Like I was excited when we got to just where we were paying for our own product, like that was being covered. That was exciting to me. I've always been a stay-at-home mom, so I've never been able to bring in income. So that was always something that I always thought, well, that would be kind of nice just to even be able to pay the grocery bill every month or something. So that was exciting in the beginning, but to like Bob said, aside from the income part, just being able to help other people and give them hope, but they write you and they're so excited because they're losing weight finally, or their reflux is gone, and that's just been really fulfilling for me to be able to, it's like, okay, this is helping me physically get healthier. I'm bringing in a little bit of income, but I'm hearing these stories of that I'm a small part in their health journey of helping them feel better. And then, to like Lance said, we're not outgoing people. So there's been a few different, there's all these different meetings and things that we go to. And John is a very good coach, and Amy, but has really pushed me. And like, I felt like in the beginning, or like before this company, I never really pushed myself to out of my comfort zone or to do hard things. And that they have really pushed me in those areas. And I've grown so much in my confidence and being like, wow, I can do hard things. Like it's not always fun in the moment, but I've grown so much. And so just all around, just joining the business has been just a life-changing thing for all of us, and physically, mentally, and with our income. So it's been a really great decision for us. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it has been a pleasure getting to know you both. And folks, probably the number one thing that I get out of this is I'm making true lifetime friends that would do more for you than a lot of my friends and family, right? I mean, I might be broke down or somewhere and would drive over there, help pick me up and be to work the next morning. And that really is a really cool thing. So get with the person that brought you. I know we went over a really high level, but we are going to cover the planet. We will do it much faster if one person reaches another person. Get healthy, spread the word, and let's really go breathe hope into people. They're sitting at home. How am I going to bring my wife home to be a stay-at-home mom? But we can't, because we have to have that income. Are you going to finally get out of debt, where you get to where you have no debt ever again? Or what's it going to be like when you're off all your medications? If you choose to work with somebody to make that happen, what would your health be like to not have high sugar issues? Where I was faced with maybe going blind because of my retinopathy, or maybe losing my limbs, or having a massive heart attack because my triglycerides, Bob's going to cringe, at the worst ever, they were 1,200. But when I started this, they were about 400. And I tell that to doctors, and they're like, what? Your A1C was a 16? What? I'm like, yeah, Yep. So go out. People are praying for you. You may be the only way to get this message in front of them, and we're just asking for your help. Everybody have a good night. I want to end early. Bob and Barb, Lance and Shelby and Amy, thank you so much for your help and being vulnerable on this call tonight. Have a good night.